and welcome to the Just in Time podcast. I'm your host, Justin Shute, and we've got a good one planned for today. We've got college football week 2 recaps, we got NFL week 1 recaps, and we also got some basketball talk at the end of the video. But before we get started with episode 14, I want to give a quick shout out to my editor who makes these podcasts special and look very nice. My younger sister, Mary Shue. Shout out to you, little sis. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into the video talking about some college football week 2 recaps. And for me personally, this was a very good weekend for me. As a Texas Longhorns fan, I have been waiting for this rematch ever since last year, and we lost by 1 to Alabama. But there was no Bryce Young to save them this time. The number 11 Texas Longhorns went to Bryant-Denny Stadium and defeated the number 3 Alabama Crimson Tide at home, 34-24. Now, what a game it was for the Longhorns. I had a birthday party centered around this game, and the Horns did not disappoint. We looked like the better team on both sides of the football. We're going to talk about the offensive side first. Quinn Ewers just had the best game of his college football career, 24 for 38, 349 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. After a very vanilla week 1, this Texas offense really turned it around as it all phases of the team look very good. Most notably, improved from a week-to-week basis has to be the offensive line. They look strong, and they did great versus Alabama's defensive line compared to a week ago where they had some communication issues against their week 1 opponent, Rice. The running backs for Texas got the job done and did enough to lead to effective run gains and potentially successful play-action calls down the field. Most notably, C.J. Baxter continues to impress me with his ability to run the football and catch the receiving. I am very intrigued on his growth throughout the year, and definitely got to keep your eyes on. This was the second game of the year, and he looks phenomenal. On to the receivers. Oh, one more thing about C.J. Baxter. He's a very difficult player to bring down. Moving on to the receivers, though. Where am I at? Yeah, we already know these guys can ball. They went out there and they all played great. Most notably, Xavier Worthy, A.D. Mitchell, and Jatavion Sanders. They shine in this one big time. All of them have some big time catches, and the receivers especially had some huge deep ball touchdowns. Overall, the talent on this offensive end on paper is deep, and it showed. And I want to give some credit out to the O-linemen because they battled through the trenches the whole game. They had Alabama's defensive linemen in chokehold. It was just a great game compared to last week at Rice. They didn't look too good versus that defensive line. Defensively speaking for the Longhorns, what a performance it was for the big guys in the trenches. The depth of the big guys is very there, and we got about 12 guys rotating in and playing. They're playing meaningful, quality snaps. If you don't get much of a drop off when they rotate in either. All of them are super solid, and all of them are talented. They got the job done, and then some. They held Alabama to under 110 rushing yards in total. This is the Alabama team that's focused on running the ball, and they want to get over 150 yards a game is what they would like, but they didn't even get to top 125. So good on Texas for that. And shout out to Anthony Hill, the true freshman linebacker starting for us. He was on a quarterback spy most of the night guarding Jalen Monroe, and he looked very good. The true freshman 5-star linebacker shined and kept Monroe on lock most of the game. He finished the game with 2 sacks and 6 tackles in total. And it was a great game for Anthony Hill. And on top of that, a freaking phenomenal game from the secondary, man. They caused 2 interceptions from Alabama quarterback Jalen Monroe. Shout out to quarterback Jahdae Barron. I've been watching him play since Pflugerville Connolly High School. He played Bastrop High School his senior year, and that was probably my favorite Bastrop game I've ever been to. He came away with a huge turnover early in the game that quickly took away momentum from the Crimson Tide. And also shout out to Jerrin Thompson. Earlier in the game, he got burnt by Kobe Prentice, receiver from Alabama. Kobe had a touchdown off him, and Jerrin Thompson got his lick back because later in the game he got a pick himself, and that led to Texas, extending the lead out to 10. That made the lead insert. They couldn't come back from that. So overall, it was just an amazing win for the Longhorns. As for Alabama, they didn't look bad like a bad team. I mean, they had some bad turnovers and they got beat on the line of scrimmage. But Texas dominated the turnover battle and the physicality on both lines of the football. Miscommunication from the D line resulted in some costly turnovers for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Milroe had some good moments, but the two interceptions were they were pretty notable. And the spy from Anthony Hill had him in worry all game. But I do want to give a quick shout out to Kobe Prentice, the wide receiver from Alabama. He looked really good at the game, and I think he's got some really good route running and hands to go along with that. But I'm excited to continue to watch his growth. But overall, I'm just more excited that the Longhorns actually pulled this off. I've been talking about this since the beginning of this podcast earlier this summer. That I thought very highly of the Longhorns, and I thought that they could beat Alabama at Alabama, and they actually got the job done. Texas moves to 2-0 with Wyoming next week. We got to take, each team week by week and take care of business. And I know that hype has the media placing them at number 4 in the country, and some sites call them the best in the country. But we've got to sustain this level of success. And looking at recent memory, history would say we lose to some of these upcoming competitive matchups like Kansas, Baylor, and Oklahoma. So the rest of the schedule is pretty tough. This win for Alabama is a great win, but we got to look towards the future and we got to stay locked in on the moment. For Alabama, they're going 1-1 heading into week 3. They've got a long season ahead of them. They're going to look like a way better team towards the end of the year, and it actually wouldn't surprise me if they went on a 10-game winning streak after this. But all that being said, the SEC is super tough, and Alabama's got some pretty tough games on their schedule as well. They got to play LSU still. They got to play Texas A&M. They got Ole Miss later down the line, but luckily next Saturday they have at South Florida to look forward to. So hopefully they can, get a win over there, get some confidence back, get some momentum back for the Crimson Tide, and they can look to just overcome that loss to Texas. And before I get into the next topic of the video, I want to give a quick shout out to Clutterbug, organized by Jamie. Do you have any clutter that's piling up in your home, or an office that's stressing you out, or a closet that you've been meaning to clean out for years but you never had the time? Well, Clutterbug, organizing by Jamie, provides professional decluttering and organization services that will transform your stressful areas into pleasing and functional spaces that bring you peace of mind. You can check out their Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and their newly released website in the description of the video. And also, you can get your first hour free if you book with Clutterbug, organized by Jamie, as long as you put Just in Time Podcast, in response to the referral sheet that you fill out. But other than that, man, we're going to dive right on into some other Week 2 recaps from college football. We got Notre Dame defeating NC State 45-24 after a weather delay took place. We got Utah scraped by with a resilient 20-13 victory at McLean Stadium. Baylor moves to 0-2 now on the year, as Utah is now 2-0 without their starting quarterback, Cam Rising. Colorado defeated Nebraska 36-14. Shedeur Sanders continues to shine at quarterback, and Colorado climbs the rankings. Ole Miss took care of business at Tulane 37-20, with Michael Pratt unable to start at quarterback for the Green Wave. North Carolina escapes an upset from Appalachian State. 40-34 was the final score. Appalachian State upset Texas A&M last year, and they were attempting to repeat history. We're trying to, do that to UNC, but they were unsuccessful this time around. Washington took care of business with Tulsa 43-10. Michael Penix finished with 409 yards and 3 touchdowns and 1 pick on the game. Oklahoma defeated SMU 28-11. Oregon avoided a loss to Texas Tech at AT&T Stadium. Final score was the Ducks 38, Red Raiders 30. And last, we got the Texas A&M Aggies. They suffered a loss to the Miami Hurricanes 48-33. A&M had the lead, but they couldn't retain it as Miami came back and they never wavered. So, I went over a couple of Week 2 college football matchups, but if I missed your team, I apologize for that. I only covered some of the games that we talked about in the last episode. And also, one team I didn't mention was the UTSA and Texas State game. I believe UTSA walked away with the win, so shout out to the Roadrunners on that one. We'll take a quick water break real quick. Got some just-in-time podcast stickers. If you know me and you're pretty close to me, please let me know if you want one. I got some, and I'll give them to you. We're gonna get another shout out to the video. We're gonna shout out to High Jump Party Rentals in 4K, the Barber. We got high quality party bounces and party packages available, along with an up and coming barber service. You can reach out to either or Chris or Erica at 210-799-6930. They're the people to take care of you if you need a party bounce or you need a haircut, man. Chris got me right on my last cut. He's gonna get me right again this weekend. And speaking about the party rental business, I mean, these hot summer days are still here. Here in Texas, it's still reaching them triple digits. It was pretty hot last weekend, and it's only going to continue to be warm for a couple more weeks. They got water bounces, they got party bounces, they got a snow cone machine, they got a they got a popcorn machine. Just hit them up and let them know if you need something for a birthday party or anything, just to have fun or cool y'all off in the sun. Alrighty, now we're gonna talk about NFL Week 1 reactions, and what a Week 1 it was. That Thursday game between the Lions and the Chiefs was a good one, and the Lions got the upset in that first game of the regular season. And for all the Kadarius Toney fantasy football owners out there, I'm sorry, he didn't have a great game. We're gonna talk about them Cowboys, though, man. How about them Cowboys? I am a Dallas Cowboys fan, and we will always say the same thing each year. This is our year. Well, after that Week 1 matchup in New York, it very well could be. The team looks super talented, and the defense stole the show. I mean, they shut the Giants' offense down. I think the addition of Stephon Gilmore was huge for the secondary, adding a solidified star cornerback next to already a star cornerback, Trayvon Diggs, with an up-and-coming, underrated cornerback in Deron Bland. This is just a great secondary you got paired up right here. It's just a very talented team all around at each position. Offensively speaking, no turnovers from Dak is always a good thing. CD looked very good, and so did Tony Pollard. But overall, I'm just excited to see more of this team and what they can do later towards the line. It was a very impressive Week 1 win versus the Giants. Everybody's talking about the Cowboys like crazy, media-wise, and it's kind of a crazy week because you got the Longhorns and the Cowboys winning. So both of my favorite teams are top in the media right now. So it's a good time to be, watching ESPN and other podcasters talk about this stuff. But yeah, they played the New York Jets in Week 2, and I'm looking forward to that game especially. Speaking of the Jets, let's go ahead and talk about that matchup on Monday night against the Buffalo Bills. And unfortunately, first series of the Jets season on offense, star quarterback Aaron Rodgers tears his Achilles. This is a season-ending injury for the star quarterback who the Jets just traded for. And Zach Wilson is just, looking to replace Aaron Rodgers as the starter at this point. The running back duo of Cook and Hall looks very promising. And Garrett Wilson had a catch of the year play in game 1. But, overall, it was the Jets defense that carried this game. 3 interceptions on Josh Allen. Shout out to Jordan Whitehead for that. He freaking dominated this game. Sauce looks good. DJ Reed looked good. That defensive line presence just tortured the O-line from the Bills. But, they were doing their part a little bit. Speaking on the Bills for a little bit, great game from Stephon Diggs. James Cook looked really good at running back. And, pass rush was pretty good for the, I said that already, but the pass rush was pretty good from the Bills defense. Yeah. And the turnovers were very costly from Josh Allen, and, they couldn't get the job done getting that, Week 1 against the Jets. But, Buffalo Bills 0-1. New York Jets 1-0. No Aaron Rodgers for the rest of the year. That's a tough break, but it's a long season. They're still a very good team without Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I still think they're going to make the playoffs, or they're going to make a really good push for it. I'm going to go over some other quick, recaps from Week 1. The Cleveland Browns defeated Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals 24-3. It was a rough game from the Bengals overall. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Minnesota Vikings 20-17. Tyler Algier shines for the Atlanta Falcons, and the rushing attack is enough to beat the Carolina Panthers 24-10. Bijan also had a very good first game. He had a receiving touchdown on that one, so that was pretty cool to see. San Francisco 49ers dominated the Pittsburgh Steelers 30-7. I actually just arrived from coming home from driving, and um, I walked into the house with Sunday night, just Sunday football being on TV, and I see Christian McCaffrey go on like 60, 70 yard, rushing touchdown. So that was pretty cool to watch. But the 49ers just, overall dominated the Steelers game. The Washington Commanders escaped with the victory versus the Cardinals, 20-16. Sam Howell had some good moments, some pretty bad moments in that game, but overall, you're hoping the Commanders um, beat the Cardinals more than by 4 points. So long season for both teams. Um, you just kind of hope that Commanders would have won in a more commanding fashion than that, because the Cardinals are not that good this year. The Las Vegas Raiders start the year off 1-0 versus the Denver Broncos with the tight 17-16 victory. Miami has a huge 36-34 win over the LA Chargers. Dolphins were amazing on offense with Tyreek Hill having himself a crazy game. I think in all the fantasy football stuff, he probably had the highest score out of all the players week 1. He finished with 11 catches, 215 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But another notable player from fantasy-wise and just the game in general is Tua Tagovailoa. He had the most impressive week 1, probably for all quarterbacks. 466 passing yards and 3 touchdowns is always pretty good from a quarterback. The Philadelphia Eagles escaped New England with the 25-20 victory. Also, New England shouted out Tom Brady for the retirement ceremony, so that was pretty cool to see. Jordan Love impresses with the Green Bay Packers victory over their rivals, the Chicago Bears, 38-20. Yeah, Jordan Love had a pretty good game. He looked very good. That Green Bay Packers is, they're still a pretty good football team all around. And last but not least, the LA Rams defeated the Seattle Seahawks 30-13. And, if I missed your team, I'm sorry. I can cover all 32 teams, and, I'll plan to do that in the future. But, I apologize for not doing that in advance already. I'm excited for that Thursday night matchup, though, between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Eagles will move to 2-0 and cause the Vikings to drop to 0-2. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings show some fight. Justin Jefferson remains wide receiver 1 in my eyes, and it's very hard to count him out. So, yeah. One last water break before we get into the last topic of the video. Alrighty. Last topic of the video today, we're going to talk about Team USA and the result of their FIBA 4th place from the World Cups last week. So on to the last topic of today's video. I'm going to talk about Team USA and what their 4th place finish at the FIBA World Cup means for the Olympic roster in 2024. The U.S. team did not place a medal this run during the FIBA World Cup, and now they look towards next summer as, they're assembling their Olympic team roster. And that 4th place finish really set a fire under LeBron and all the best players from, USA, because now they're going to assemble the Avengers. LeBron James announced that he's going to commit to Team USA, and with that announcement, he's recruiting Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, and some of the NBA's best stars. And I love how the loss of this World Cup really shook a bear for LeBron. I mean, the biggest stars for USA are going to have to participate if they want to compete and actually win gold next year in the Olympics. The rest of the world's going to look, they're looking very talented with Jokic, Giannis, Wemby, Luka, all eligible to, play for their countries. And Germany remains the team to beat as they won the FIBA World Cup. And Canada looks very good as well. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Dylan Brooks over there. But if I had to pick what a 12-man roster could be for this Olympic team next year, this is what I would go with. I would go with Steph Curry, Devin Booker, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Bam Adebayo, Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard, Anthony Edwards, Joel Embiid. That dual citizenship works. He can play for Team USA if he wants to. Cade Cunningham, who I think would be, extremely good on the Team USA basketball team. The defense, the versatility, the playmaking, just the leadership and the dog that he brings. He's a winner. And Mikal Bridges. Very skilled, very talented, guys who can score, guys who can defend, all-around winners on the court. A lot of accolades amongst all of them. There's a lot of youth. There's a lot of, MVP winners here. lot of top 75 players here on this list. But overall, this is just a team that I think could win. And this is not the most. There's other guys you could put on here like to replace Kate Cunningham or McCall or stuff like that. But overall, I love this team. And this is just if I picked it. It's not what's going to be the set roster in the beginning. We're going to have to look towards the future for that. And I'm just excited to keep on track with the Olympic roster. We're going to get more and more information as the year goes on. And we're still in off season for basketball, so we still got about a month away before the regular season tips off. But I'm excited being a Spurs fan. So yeah, in the meantime, that's going to be it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and share with your friends and family. I appreciate the support. And that's going to do it for this video. So y'all take care. Peace.